Lords, I rise briefly to follow the noble lady Baroness Fox and back the Amendment 40 in her name. It's probably not a combination you'll see very often. But this, as the noble lady just set out, with practical, very clear evidence, is an amendment that just really makes such a lot of sense that I felt that I had to back it. Now, my particular area when it comes to prison policy is women in prison. And there are just more and more shocking figures emerging all of the time about what's happening in our women's prisons. A third of women in prison are now self-harming, a 29% increase in the last quarter. 82% of women in prison report mental health problems. And as the noble lady said, 1 in 4 are actually in prison receiving help for mental health services. Now, that's not to say there aren't enormous issues around male jails as well. That figure is 1 in 7 in male jails. But I just want to really take a moment to paint a particular picture. 6 in 10 of those female prisoners are serving sentences of less than 6 months. Their life is torn apart, they're put into prison, maybe they just start to get some help for the mental health services, and some of the other figures is 7 in 10 of women in prison report being victims of domestic violence, 53% report that they were victims of child abuse. We have a huge amount of need for mental health services here, and often very, very acute mental health needs for services. And yet, as the noble lady set out, they're thrown out virtually onto the street, and the chances of continuing care, continuing support being there just is utterly unrealistic. Now, the noble Lord Timpson will, I suspect, say that trying to very much improve the situation, and I respect and understand that, but nonetheless I think this is a really practical, sensible measure that would be just make common sense for the government to take on board.